In today's video, we are going to talk about the importance of scaling to 7 figures, why it needs to be top of mind more so in the beginning of your business. And joining me today, I have Darius Britt from the Wealth Nation YouTube channel.
Hello, Marissa. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. And so if you're excited about this 7-figure discussion, go ahead and comment 7 figures and let's get into it. To start, I just wanted to bring the discussion of there's a lot of business coaches out there, and what you see on social media a lot of the times, and not that it's wrong, I'm not saying that at all, but what we see a lot is, make 100K a year, yay for 100K, maintain 2 to 3 clients a month at 10K a month. But I think that at least when I made it past that mark, I realized I'm like, wait a minute, 6 figures isn't enough.
Mm-hmm. It's important to have a starting point. But once you go beyond that, what's next? Mm-hmm. And what's next is creating systems and taking yourself out of the equation. Like both of us have started to experience with our business. Mm-hmm. So it's important for you to have that 7 figures, because not only do you have to maintain your income, but it's your responsibility to maintain the livelihood of the people that you have on your team. So it adds a different equation to the mix. Mm-hmm.
And I think also I just wanted to say, like, making 6 figures is a huge accomplishment. Like, that's nothing to be, downplayed or saying that that's not an accomplishment. That's huge in that. But I just think that maybe you could relate, but when I was at that point, I'm like, I felt like I was hustling more. Mm-hmm. And I was hustling a lot. And I thought, wow, this business doesn't really feel like freedom. And I know, like, I was first like confused on what the heck I was doing. I felt like it was a hustle every single day. I felt guilty if I took weekends off. Like, I felt like I had to be working just as much as my team. And I had no clue really how to set up the operational systems, the client delivery, the sales systems. And so this is why, I feel like in the beginning, the focus should be like, wow, I do want to create a 6-figure, but also go beyond to 7 figures to alleviate those things, mm-hmm. Because I was working 40, 60-hour work weeks. It was insane. So, yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Set it up for what you want to create, knowing that you're going to make it there. I guess to your point earlier, when 6 figures isn't enough, it's not enough to set your goal to that, because you're going to blow past that, mm-hmm. and already set that intention for yourself. I like the idea.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think one thing that is kind of the first to get established, I think, I don't know how it worked for you, but it was the operations and the getting someone to be in charge of your team for you instead of you. Because I know during that time when I was working like crazy, it was me assigning tasks and checking progress of all the projects. And mm-hmm. I couldn't even work because I was so like, where's this project? What's this person doing? I had no clue really what anyone on my team was working on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about it, when you start, you have to wear multiple hats in the first place. So it's more of an action of delegation, mm-hmm. and delegating to a space where you feel like you're being used the best, because for your business, you're the face of it. So you have to stay on a platform where people are being introduced to you, and delegate the rest of it, like your sales or your operations piece. Mm-hmm. The operations piece is probably the thing that you like the least, or at least the thing that we like the least. So it wasn't a problem for us to outsource that. But then we had to understand that if we're going to outsource operations, we need to be more focused on our marketing, so that we can have enough money to keep the people on operations that we have. Mm-hmm. And that I really enjoy the training piece of it. And I was fortunate enough to have my wife, Carmen, mm-hmm. Be really good at sales. So it's just a matter of understanding the hats that you wear in the beginning aren't the hats that you're always going to wear, but make sure you delegate and be okay with whatever happens, mm-hmm. with the people you delegate it to, because they're not going to do as good as you.
Yeah.
Because they're not you.
And by the way, if you are a CEO or founder looking to really take your YouTube channel to the next level, because right now, maybe your channel's on life support, maybe it's struggling, I have excellent news for you, because this month I have opened up 5 spots to work personally one-on-one with myself and my team. And basically what we promise for you is that we will 5x your lead flow and lead generation from your YouTube channel within the next 90 days, or we will work with you until it happens. Guaranteed. Okay, so if you're interested in that, please check out the first link in the description and book a call today. On this strategy call, we'll basically peel back the curtain on what exactly we're doing for our existing clients and how we have helped supercharge not only their leads and sales, but also their brand awareness and authority in their niche. Now, this is definitely for you if you have a refined offer, if you have a YouTube channel already where you've posted at least 40 videos, if you're able to post at least one piece of content per week, and if you're finally ready to outsource that dream YouTube team behind your channel, we will train them, we will manage them. And let me back up a little bit. This is not for you if you do not have a YouTube channel and if you're starting from scratch. So if you are a complete beginner in business and you have not started your YouTube channel and you're in that stage where you're still trying to figure it out, unfortunately, I won't be able to help you and we cannot accept your application. But if this does sound like you and if this resonates, definitely book a strategy session in the link in the description, and be sure to do it right now because those 5 spots will fill up super fast. So I will talk to you soon.
Yeah. No, I love that you mentioning delegation. What's the mindset behind delegating and making that first hire? Because I think at first what happens is you get your very first VA or somebody that comes in and helps with email administrative stuff, and you want to hire as cheap as possible because the profit margins is not as high. It's, you gotta outsource. But I think for me, when I made my first hire, where it was an American hire, where it was somebody who had experience in the corporate world in this country, it was scary because it was the most expensive. And so what's your mindset behind doing that first hire that really, that person is smarter and better than you at things, and you're they just really do magical things for your business.
Carmen and I was following the numbers, and what they initially were for us is to fill a void that we couldn't fulfill ourselves, because we have a business outside of YouTube that's centered around life insurance, and there were people coming in that we weren't able to physically work with. So it was important for us, based on the numbers, to hire another insurance agent. We know insurance agent. We know insurance because that's what we started with before YouTube. So for us, the delegating to somebody else was a lot easier, because it's something that even when we do our YouTube videos, we're doing in the back of our mind. So we delegated the thing that we were probably the best at, because it gives us an opportunity to mentor somebody up to the point where we feel comfortable, not at a point to where we're still thinking about what they're doing versus what we're doing on the front end with the marketing piece. So I think for us, it was, again, going back to it, it was to fulfill a void that we couldn't handle on our own. And it was just following the numbers. And with this experience, or the conversation going 6 figures or 7 figures, is following the numbers and doing what the numbers tell you to do. Because a lot of times we get emotional behind the things that we do, behind the things that we want to delegate. It may not necessarily be the best thing to delegate, because will it create income for us by delegating it? Will it help us get closer to growing our income? Because it's important for you to have the right people in the right places. So following the numbers, it takes out the emotion. For me, it takes out the emotion, and the mindset behind it is just black and white.
On a video, you guys had one quote that you said. I can't even remember your exact quote, but it really stuck with me because as you talk about outsource or hiring another agent to help fulfill the work, and maybe it was something where you're no one can do it as good as us, right?
Absolutely.
And you're like, how could they ever fulfill as good as we can?
Right.
It's impossible, right? But I think you mentioned you better make sure now that you put those systems and the co-coaches in place before life happens, right? And
100%.
we can't, and then we have no one to help fulfill the work, and we
Right.
don't have those systems in place. And that quote you said, that one video was really powerful to me. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that is, say that again.
Right, because what you want to do is you want to work on your business, not always in your business.
Yeah.
And by having somebody else there, it gives you a little bit of time so that you can focus on those systems and become more efficient. Because you're not efficient at all doing everything. Mm-hmm. You're never as efficient doing everything. And matter of fact, those numbers that you see when you hire somebody else, it's probably the same thing, but the difference is you have more. You're able to create more efficiency with how you generate that lead to that person, to where the numbers kind of balance out. So I think is really important for you to delegate and be okay with it, because you are working on your business at that point instead of in your business.
Yeah, exactly. So let's maybe talk about pricing, because this is something that I recently went through. Is pricing your products. And like, I don't even think we talked on this point before we record this video, but the mindset behind charging higher and charging, I guess, what you're worth, for lack of better words. There was something you mentioned, it was another way of saying it, but kind of the fear of leveling up your pricing. This was something that I personally had to change, because I had a product, or have a product, that was in the $1,000 to $2,000 mark, like a hybrid coaching course model. But what I realized is, because I'm still almost at the 7-figure mark, like I haven't crossed it yet, but what I realized is like, hey, I need a higher ticket product. Like I need to feel confident about selling it. Right. Because this, for a long time, for whatever money blocks or things in my life that told me in the back of my head that I wasn't worthy of charging this price point, kept me from doing it for forever, like up until recently. And so I think that also should be an important part of the business model. The value ladder is like, hey, well, okay, so you have maybe this lower ticket recurring membership, or you have a 1K course, or whatever it is. But it's like, well, what's your VIP? What's your upsell? You know?
Yeah, I really agree. You have your done for you, you have your done with you, mm-hmm. and then you have, what the do it on your own. And each one has a different price point, because it's how much you're involved. When you think about building the business, it should be more expensive for you to actually put your time into one person when you're looking to work with many people. So I think a lot of times what we as entrepreneurs do, or I can say for myself, will compare it to what other people are doing, not understanding the systems and processes that they have in place to get them to that point, or the fact that they won't even be working with the person itself. Mm-hmm. We need to really look at our value of an hour, the value of an hour for us. Yeah. How much is that costing us to be there? If we're just going to be with one person, they should pay for that time, because we can always make money. We can't always get time back. So the most valuable or most precious thing to us is our time. And a lot of times we don't charge enough for it. And when we do, we feel bad about it. There's the imposter syndrome coming on in that aspect. But what we just really have to understand is that time that you're taking, they should also understand that you're taking time away from whatever you're doing to grow your business to work with them. And I think we should be okay with that.
Yeah, totally.
And the more you do it, the better you'll feel.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great point in transition to the CEO mindset. I think that we don't, as early entrepreneurs getting started, we don't understand what mindset really is, because we haven't lived the things yet that have challenged us to really mold our mindset into, where we're going. That 7-figure CEO, that 8-figure CEO and beyond, right? Mm-hmm. And so what would you say that now that financially, per month, what's $1 million a year? What is that?
833, 8,000.
No,
83,000.
83,000
a month.
Yeah.
It's $1 million.
So with $83,000 a month, that will give you cushion to set boundaries. And I think going into the CEO mindset, I think I had looked at, but so you guys had a child first before me and David did. And I would think that you guys were crazy for working so little. I'm just like, how do they do it? Like, I can't fathom working 10, 15 hours a week. I'm like, you guys have to be losing money, right? Because that was my mindset back then. But I think, what are like a couple, 2-3 things that mindset wise help you be like, this is where we want to operate, is 10 to 15 and not 40, 60 per week? Like, what were those shifts for you guys?
Well, honestly, the biggest shift was having a kid and knowing that you have to have the right systems in place in order for the business to operate without you. I would say that to be the first and foremost. It was fear that got us to taking that first step, because we had to leave our business. Yeah. And even after leaving our business, we had a lot of issues where there was people that wanted to work with us that we were booked out for the rest of a year, and it was in June.
Nice.
So fixing those problems and having that experience, the next time we were like, okay, next time we have a kid or go on vacation, we're going to see what happens. And then we didn't have the same problems because we fixed it.
Right.
So I would say the first thing is just to take risk, not to have a kid.
But just, step one, have a child.
Take risks to see what your business would do without you, and don't touch it for a little while to see if your systems are actually working. Because if things fall to pieces, you can always go back and fix those things, because the problems are going to identify themselves for you rather than you trying to anticipate, working on this, working on that. Let the problems speak to you and work from there. Another thing I would say would just be to trust yourself and trust what you're trying to accomplish in the system and the overall big picture of what you're trying to do, and focus on that, because the ideas and the plans will come if your heart's in the right place. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. And I think that was a huge fear. My 7th and 8th month of pregnancy, like, the fear of leaving, of taking myself out of something where I'd put in my blood, sweat, equity, like all these things, and I'm just like, I just couldn't fathom like what would happen. And so I know about 4 months before I gave birth to my first son, that's when I hired my operations manager. And that was like, why didn't I do this a way long time ago? Because like we had, she started putting our SOPs into place, our workflows, our systems. She started doing performance reviews for the team. And I'm like, what are performance reviews? So I was like, what? Like, this is awesome. And so, KPIs everywhere. And it just felt like, it decreased the fear. There was still fear there, but as a result of that, we, like, while I was away on maternity leave, which was 3 months, and thanks to you guys, literally thanks to Carmen and you guys, I was prepared mentally. I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to take 3 months off. You guys were like, 3 months, give yourself. I'm like, okay, 3 months. And when we looked at the P&Ls, when we came back, we had profited 30% those 3 months. And I was just like, how? Like, there's no way.
So I think a lot of times we prepare for it without thinking that we're doing a good job of it. Because Carmen and I, what we did is we sold courses to financial advisors. We did a bunch of videos to last us at least a month and a half into our pregnancy. So we were prepared for it. And then as things happen, you can, if you need to spend some cash, you have that available because that's what you prepared for. Yeah. So prepare for it. Prepare for the next step or what you want to accomplish for your business. It's not all about just having time. It's also about making the right decisions to give yourself the ability to have that time.
Right. So if we look at a closed 100K annual salary, that's 8,300 and something, versus 83,000 a month coming in cash flow. Could you give us a snapshot of like what you could do with that money?
Well, for me, the first thing I would do is make sure my taxes is taken care of. My expenses, my overhead would be the copywriter, our manager, our developer, make sure they're good, and then the software that we use to put on like a online course as an example.
Like your online business tools.
Got it. Like they come every year. You get a discount by paying up annually, or you can pay monthly. It costs a little more, the 12%. I like to save the 12%. So the $83,000 will go towards that and your salary. So it's really, I keep saying it's really important a lot in this call, but I'm thinking back to our business and what allowed us to go from just the Carmen and Darius show to kind of like a whole production of people. There's certain people that you hire for specific projects. It just keeps coming. And the really important thing, for us is to make sure that we have those people working on our team or working in our business and not just contractors. Because with the contractor, they're going to charge you for a specific project, and you can save money by having somebody on your team full time doing not just the work for that specific project, but other projects. That's going to make you become a better developer or content creator by having people full time pushing you and making sure, letting you know it's your responsibility to move this team forward. So that 83,000 it depends on your team. It's enough for us right now because we're growing. But as we continue to grow, it's going to change, and it's going to be divvied up into research and development, because we have to make sure that we don't have a risk of having all of our leads coming from YouTube. We have to see what blogs are like. We have to see what other platforms are like, so that we can make sure that if YouTube decides to change something, we won't be there stuck.
Yeah.
Because we've had that happen before. So you want to organize yourself so that when something happens, you're prepared. Every business has its roller coaster. It goes up seasons.
Yes.
So you want to prepare for those seasons where you're down, so that you have that cash on hand, being responsible, out there making it rain in the club. And as it goes up, you still want to be responsible and make sure that you've handled your responsibility as a business owner to make sure everybody gets paid.
Yeah. And speaking of making it rain in the club, does a portion of that, should that go to investments every month?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Because for us in our business, what we do is we make sure we teach people exactly what we're doing. So we have to invest in other things so that we can show that we're a part of the process. Like you guys, we just happen to have a camera showing exactly what we're doing, but we're investing in real estate. We're investing in the market. We're investing in other opportunities that we talk about on our channel.
Right.
So that we can build multiple streams of income. If you take a look at successful people like Elon Musk, he has multiple things that he's into, and he's leveraging his money. So the only thing we can do is copy exactly what other successful people are doing. And it may not be what we're doing today, but you still want to work towards it, like the 6 figures to 7 figures. You want to follow what billionaires are doing, right? That's just my 2 cents.
Right. Right. Whatever that next level is up, like that's what you're modeling after, kind of as soon as you hit one milestone after the other.
Right. The funny thing about money is if you focus on money, you're going to always focus on money. So a portion of the business that you really hone in on in your weekly calls or your team meetings is going to be the money. It's always going to be there. It's never going to be enough. It's always more. But you also have to have the understanding of why you're doing what you're doing so that it all makes sense. Because greed is something that is a part of our ego that happens. It's easy to be greedy because money is one of those things that's always being printed. It's always available. It's always being created in some algorithm, a data land from the banks. So by us constantly being focused on money, we start to lose the reason why we're doing what we're doing in the first place.
That's key. So that there's a difference between focusing on the long-term business goals and vision versus always focusing on money.
Exactly.
Right.
Money is the byproduct of the value that we're adding to the space.
Love that.
I kind of got off on a tangent because I was thinking about the 83K. And to some people, $83,000 a month is far-fetched. Some people that's going to be watching this content.
Yeah.
So if you just focus on what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish and the people you're trying to help, you're going to look up and you're going to be making 83,000.
Right.
Because the value that you add, if it's related to money, you're going to get burned out. But if it's to serve something that's greater than you, you'll never get tired.
Yeah, absolutely. Walking or operating in your purpose, right? Yeah. And which typically for most of us is part of that is service.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
And honestly, Carmen and I know me personally, I got lost in that. I got lost in making the money. We were making 6 figures a month. So it's easy to see that and forget where you want to go, because that got us off on a tangent or off our path where we started working with financial advisors versus helping the actual people that we wanted to help. Yes, there's more money there, but what's the purpose?
When you guys first crossed 6 figures a month, what were the different pools of money making that up?
So what made it up is first was our insurance business, where we earned a commission. The next thing was doing courses for financial advisors, trying to teach them how to market to people to grow their business. So that was another 6 figures a month. No, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, we're doing we had a time where we were doing maybe $250 a month.
Wow. That's incredible. That's so exciting. All right. Well, I hope you guys learned a thing or two about the importance of really aiming for scaling to 7 figures, right away, whether you're just approaching that 100K mark or whether you're into the multiple 6 figures. Definitely have your eyes set on that 7 figure, because you will get there. We will all get there and beyond 8 and 9 figures. So if you enjoy this video, you're still here, definitely check out this video coming up all about pivoting your niche on YouTube. Are you scared of losing subs, views, AdSense, and the entire audience that you've built on your YouTube channel?
Don't worry, you are in the right place because we have been there and done that.